Welcome to Econ Horizon. Today we are delving into an intriguing question: how influential is China in the unfolding debt crisis of Sri Lanka? Ever since 2009, Sri Lanka's burgeoning debt predicament has been a critical issue. The primary cause is the country's drive to fortify its post-war infrastructure, which necessitated extensive borrowing. Here, China has emerged as a pivotal player, especially through its Belt and Road Initiative, BRI. Interestingly, over time, the nature of this initiative and China's lending practices have evolved significantly. Between 2000 and 2021, Chinese official sector institutions extended loans worth $1.34 trillion to 165 low- and middle-income countries, according to aid data, a research group at William & Mary's Global Research Institute. However, since 2017, BRI lending has waned, and the value of new BRI projects has leveled off. Moreover, the average size of deals has even shrunk compared to the pre-pandemic era. Beijing has shifted its reliance from policy banks to state-owned commercial banks. As global interest rates have soared in recent years, developing countries like Sri Lanka are facing steeper debt repayments to Beijing. Aid Data's report in November indicated that Beijing had engaged in emergency rescue lending. The percentage of rescue loans provided by China to low- and middle-income countries skyrocketed from 5% in 2013 to 58% in 2021. This ensures that principal BRI participants such as Sri Lanka can meet the debts of unfinished infrastructure projects. Furthermore, make sure to comment your thoughts about Sri Lanka's situation and give your idea how to overcome this. Now let's continue. A curious turn in this narrative is Beijing's practice of paying itself by withdrawing dollars and euros from cash collateral accounts when borrowers struggle with repayments. At the same time, China has been expanding its outward investment, while becoming more cautious in BRI lending. This is seen as a desirable strategy to avert the risk of a double-edged debt trap that could damage both China and BRI debtors. Experts like Ganeshan Wignaraja and Nishizawa delve into the intricate interplay between China and Sri Lanka, shedding light on unique challenges and areas of concern such as foreign investment, energy security, and the strategies of Chinese firms like Sinopec. In spite of Sri Lanka's ongoing debt restructuring, an agreement was reached in principle with a group of 14 creditor nations, interestingly, excluding China. Nevertheless, negotiations with private external creditors are still in progress. Deborah Brautigam, a professor at Johns Hopkins University, predicts that the dynamics of these negotiations will largely shape the future of Chinese foreign investment and lending in Sri Lanka, particularly through the BRI. To wrap up, it is evident that a debt trap benefits no one. It only ensnares the debtor in insurmountable debt, leaving the creditor with unfulfilled claims. Indeed, the mechanics of international lending and borrowing, especially involving major players like China, are complex and continually evolving. Despite mounting debt, China's heavy investment in Sri Lanka continues, sparking global intrigue. Beijing's financial backing spans across infrastructure projects including highways, airports, and ports, solidifying its stance as Sri Lanka's most significant bilateral lender. However, China staunchly refutes any claims of orchestrating a debt trap. The spokesperson of the Chinese Foreign Ministry asserts that they have never coerced any entity into borrowing money, imposed debt on any nation, or pursued any political self-benefits. Now, China is poised to restructure Sri Lanka's remaining foreign loans, all while continuing to infuse direct investments into the country. In the depth of the economic crisis in late November, Sri Lanka sanctioned a staggering $4.5 billion investment from the Chinese titan of the oil industry, Sinopec. This development was not just notable, but remarkably significant as it was the largest single investment in Sri Lanka since the 2022 financial crisis. Yet, this financial saga was not devoid of tumult. Vitol, the other serious contender, stepped away from the bidding war, thus clearing the path for Sinopec. This begs the question, what does this monumental Chinese investment imply for Sri Lanka? It has indeed cast a long shadow of uncertainty over the economic future of Sri Lanka. As Sri Lanka wrestles with a profound debt crisis, its deepening relationship with China becomes even more significant. We've explored the alarming surge in Sri Lanka's debt and the ceaseless wave of Chinese investments. Recently, a staggering $4.5 billion authorization for Sinopec's refinery project enriched the discourse. The prevailing narrative of a possible Chinese debt trap remains riveting. Some, like Professor Toshiro Nishizawa at the University of Tokyo, argue that the Sinopec investment might have its upsides. This investment gives Beijing potential influence over Sri Lanka's economic fate, it's worth noting. Notably, Sri Lanka's only oil refinery, built by the state-owned Ceylon Corporation in 1969, has been struggling to meet domestic demand, highlighting the significance of the Sinopec investment. With China's ongoing influx of investments and Sri Lanka's escalating debt, the world awaits with anticipation the unfolding of future events. We now turn our attention to the other key players in Sri Lanka's investment landscape. Wise to the dangers of being too reliant on China, the Sri Lankan government is making strategic moves to diversify its economic alliances. They are casting their gaze towards powerhouses such as India and the US as a means to retain bargaining power with their major partners, a strategy highlighted by Professor Nishizawa. India, Sri Lanka's close neighbor and one of the world's economic giants, is making inroads. Indian tycoon Gautam Adani is primed to run a container terminal in Colombo, a move with the potential to greatly enhance Sri Lanka's logistics sector. In parallel, the US, a global titan, is taking steps to counter the Chinese influence. The American government has pledged a considerable loan of $553 million, the development of the same container terminal. These maneuvers by India and the US demonstrate their interest in Sri Lanka's economic growth and their determination to offset China's expanding sway in the region. In this intricate game of international diplomacy, global investments are the chess pieces. The looming question is, what will be the repercussions of these balancing acts on Sri Lanka's debt situation and its ties with China? We will probe this pivotal matter in our upcoming episode. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment your thoughts and share with friends. See you in next video.